okay, because this is a very basic level workshop, okay. So I'm not kind of giving you a high level workshop. It is for people who are just beginners, who don't even know anything about how things work. And you have ever, if you have never heard about API before, this workshop is for you, okay. But if you have heard about API, then also this workshop is for you, because we are going to do literally a lot of stuff, okay. So yeah, let's get started. My name is Ali Mustafa. I'm a student community manager here at Postman. Apart from that, I do a lot of stuff, and I have traveled to 32 cities in India, talking about 100 plus colleges. I was about to come to your college soon. I have delivered a virtual session as well, and this pandemic happened, and we were, in the month of March only, we were planning a session, and then everything went off. But yeah, regardless, I really love the energy of you folks there, and yeah, so the agenda of today is to learn about APIs and learn about APIs, and then try it out hands-on. So if you have installed Postman, or you're working with, if you have Postman account, that is really good. We will be kind of doing a bit of a hands-on and understand how to work with Postman, and then follow up resources so that you can go out, try out things, and become an expert. Okay, so that is like kind of the complete agenda. For Q&A, I am very so I usually like Q&As to be coming within the session, because you can see me looking at the left hand side of mine a lot. Now I don't have notes there. I have actually the chat there. Okay, I usually use my mobile phone to look at the chat. So whenever I look here, then I'm like, okay, this is what it is. So as I see, there is a question: what does student expert do? I'll answer that question once we have that idea about what is a student expert, because I have slides for that. If I answer it right now, then obviously all the slides would be not so much valuable. So yeah, feel free to ask questions. That is like really good. So what is API? In terms of in a very simple way, if I try to explain you, is like a restaurant. In a restaurant, if you go, you sit, you have a table, right? And then the waiter comes and brings a menu to you, and this menu is what you look at and you order something, okay. Obviously you will see all the ingredients, you will see everything, right? So if you want to order, let's say, paneer biryani, or if you want to order, let's say, chicken biryani, everything is mentioned there, and then you just say that to the waiter, and then the waiter goes to the kitchen and brings that for you, okay. The kitchen prepares and then brings back to you, okay. Here the waiter is acting as an API, where you're requesting something, and the waiter is going outside, making it up with the chefs, everyone right there at the backend team, and then bringing it back to you and serving you. Okay. Now this happens literally every single time you go to a restaurant, and some restaurants have self-service. Their API is not used. When I talk about APIs, this example is really crazy, the previous one, because you might have different opinions. For example, what if my food is bad? What who am I going? I'm not going to go to waiter. I'm going to go to the manager. Okay. So to make things simpler, to make things more technical, I am showing you this example. Okay. How many of you use Instagram or any social media site? Not specifically Instagram. Okay. You can give me a thumbs up also. Okay. So see, Zoom has a very good feature. Okay. So whenever I ask a question, I really want you to interact. Okay. So because see, to me, I am speaking to a computer. Okay. And to me, I am not able to see anyone. Okay. So to me, know that everyone is not sleeping. I am actually looking at the chat. Okay. Now, if you don't respond in the chat, I will take names. Okay. So yeah, because I don't move forward to the next slide unless and until I get a response. Okay, so yeah, I see multiple responses. I do. Oh, that's good. Okay, one person said I do three times. Okay, um, okay. So when we talk about the whole scenario, right? How does Instagram work? Okay, it is very simple. Okay, whenever you open, like, I usually upload a lot of stories, okay, and whenever I eat something, like rasgulla, I would click a photo and I'll upload it on my story, make everyone jealous, right? That is the pro rule of using Instagram, right? So once you're working, let's say you are attending this amazing webinar, right? And then what you want to do is you want to let your followers know, you become an influencer, you want your followers to know that you're attending a webinar. What you're going to do is you're going to move to your social media, right? And then click a photo, and then upload it to Instagram so that people can have a look at. Okay. Now, what I want you folks to tell me is how many API calls do you think this complete process will take place in? Okay. So, do you think there will be an API call in in the very first place? If yes, how many? I just want a raw number. Okay. So, because it is like it is very simple question. So, yep, five. Okay. Now, this is not an hard and fast rule. Okay. So, yeah, just throw in your number. Probably one can work. Okay. What about others? One. Okay. So whenever we talk about this specific scenario, see, Instagram cannot click photo by itself. It needs hardware, which is your camera. Okay. Now your camera is a hardware which is not available directly. It is available through through an API, which is called as a hardware level API. So whenever you're trying to access camera, you are going to call a camera API through your Instagram application, and then the camera will see if it is available or if it is not available. If the camera is available, then the camera will be allocated to Instagram, and then the Instagram application can use the camera. Once the Instagram application uses the camera, it will click some cool photos. After it clicks some photos, then what it will do is it will process that photos. Okay. So you add crazy filters, you add story text, animated, and so on and so forth, right? Once you add all that, it is altered and then it is uploaded to the Instagram server so that all your followers can see. Okay. So let's say one API call for getting the camera access, okay, and then the camera acknowledges with a response saying that hey, okay, you can use me, okay, and then Instagram clicks the photo is processed using another library, okay, and then after that it uploads that to the server, okay, not just uploads that to the server, it also sets the permission of who is going to see this and who is going to access this, okay, and this is the whole process which takes around 4 API calls, okay. So not necessarily four because Instagram might be using backend, hidden APIs which can be, working on a different ways. For example, you're tagging someone on the story. Okay, it hits an API call to search for all the names which you are typing. Okay, so that is an API call. Every single time you type something, that is an API call, and then it returns back. You're using GIF. Where does that GIF come from? Is that stored on your device? No, that is also an API. Okay, so if you see like that, there are n number of APIs which are being used, but we don't realize that. Okay, and APIs are the building blocks of modern world. You know, all the software which you see today. Okay, so there is an API for literally everything. There is a cat API. Okay, if you love cat. If you don't love cat, there's a dog API. Okay, now, if you don't love dog, I will make a chicken API. Okay, soon. And then there's a weather map API, right? Spotify API, then Twitter API, Google API. There are so many different APIs, right? And so you will see that on a day-to-day basis you will find and you will be using all these APIs in your life, but you don't kind of look at it as an API. You look at it as a service. For example, you go to an ATM, and then your bank is SBI, but the ATM is Kotak, right? Still you are able to remove the money. How is that possible? Through APIs. Okay, so what I want to tell you is APIs are nothing but software version of Lego. Okay, now how many of you have played with Legos? Mm-hmm. Amok, okay. Aditya has played with the Legos. What about others? They didn't play with Lego when they were kids. I still play with Legos. I'm not no more a kid, but yeah, they are fun, right? And the most fun part is not me playing with the Legos. The more fun part is letting my little brother make something and then destroying it, right? And then enjoying that moment. So that is my favorite part of playing with Legos, right? um, so that is like when you talk about Legos and Legos, when you talk about APIs as well, they are nothing but software version of Legos. What it does is it enables us to make individual modules and then attach them together to make a software. Okay, and it is not just it is so fascinating because if you look at Google Authentication API, it is not just used by Gmail, Drive, Calendar, YouTube, right? It is also used by third parties. So Google made one API, which is Authentication API. It is allowing Zoom to use that. It is allowing thousands of different applications to use sign in with Google. only one authentication API being used by millions and millions of devices. Okay, even Google uses that internally, and then Google allows others to use that API to authenticate users who already have a Google account. Okay, so when we talk about APIs, right, these all concepts, not just help you to understand it, right? When we talk about modern world APIs, these all concepts will come into the place. APIs are very simple, little blocks which we combine together to make a powerful software. Okay, and here, if you wonder, right, in even in Legos, right? When I was playing with Legos when I was a kid, still I play with them. But what I used to do is I used to make something. Let's say I made a truck, and then I'm like, hey, this is not working. Okay, let me remove that engine and let me make a car with a truck engine. Okay, now then I will be like, okay, let me remove this car, let me make a plane out of this engine. Okay, and so on and so forth. So what I was doing is I was actually building so many different stuff with just that bunch of services which are available. And the only limit here was my imagination, because I could actually make anything, right? Yesterday I saw my little brother make twin towers. Okay, and that was really cool. But then I destroyed it. So yeah, that was like, I just ran there and I just removed one part, and then he cried. So yeah, but yeah, that is also fun part. So remember, whenever you are creating something, right, they are the software version of Legos. Okay, now what is an API? Again, the question comes back to us: what is an API? Okay, so API is nothing but application programming interface. What it does, it provides you an interface to access, and to access data, to access services, and then to provide services as well. Okay, and APIs are not common; they have been existed forever. But in this modern world, right, in this century, you will see that all the softwares which are made, like maybe used by a startup, corporation, government, uses API. Okay, because without APIs, no software can exist, because collaboration is the key in this century, right? If you're making something and it's not collaborative, it is not using other companies cannot use it, then there is no use of it. Okay, now when you talk about Postman, what is Postman? Postman is nothing but a client. I usually say Postman is the browser for APIs. Okay, so we'll talk about Postman later on, but understand, I hope the understanding of API is pretty clear to you. Now, when I talk about, I'm going to go there, I'm going to kind of, request API, I'm going to receive API. How does that going to happen? Okay, how am I going to, send a request, and how am I going to receive the response? Okay, and this is where the ifs and buts of APIs come into place, right? So whenever I'm working with APIs, this is the main, part where I want to make sure the structure which I'm requesting the data and the structure which I'm receiving the data, they both are same. Okay, and I need to make sure, the receiving data which is coming, the body of that, I can decode it. Okay, so and the requesting data, whatever body they want, I can send it like that. And this is where everything comes into the place. Okay, okay, there's a question which is, what is the difference between web API and a REST API? REST API is nothing but a web API only. When we talk about APIs, there are two types of APIs, basically three types of APIs: public APIs, private APIs, and then you will see APIs which are called as web APIs. So ideally, we refer to all the APIs which are available through a address on the website, like on the web, is called as web APIs. Okay, now for example, the camera API is not a web API, because Instagram is accessing the camera, and then it is local. It is not going through internet. Okay, it is a local API which is there onto the device, which any application can use, not just Instagram. Okay, so that is one type of API. Here we are talking about only web APIs. The reason for that is because on widely basis you only use web APIs. Okay, obviously you will be using different kinds of API, like hardware level APIs when you're working with different stuff, but in general we tend to use web APIs more than anything else, and I'll show you some good examples for that. So when we talk about making the request, we have three different parts for that. One, setting the method; second, setting the address bar; and third, adding the path, the resource path. Let's see the structure. When we talk about method is nothing but different types of method which we are sending to the API and telling that, hey, this is what we want. Okay, so if we say get method, it will help us to get the information from the server. If we say post method, it will help us to add information on the server. If it says put method, it will help us to update information on the server. And if it says delete method, then it is going to help us to delete information on the server. Now these are not the only methods. There are more than 10 methods. Okay, but these are the most common methods. It is the code of, you can say, when you do code, create, update, delete, this is the same. Okay, so when you talk about APIs, these are the four methods which you should definitely know about. Okay, then comes second part, which is the endpoint. Okay, so endpoint and path is nothing but endpoint is the main domain name. Okay, so let's say I want to use Google search as an API. So for that, google.com will be my host. And then I want to use the Google homepage. So then the forward slash is going to be my resource path. Your There's an example of LinkedIn. Using linkedin.com is, like normal, the endpoint. But what part of LinkedIn I'm going to use? What part of LinkedIn I'm going to request? So the path is going to be feed, then it will give me the feed. If it is going to be connections, it will give me connections. If it is going to be chat, it's going to allow me to chat with people. Okay. So remember, path is very, very important because path is where the resource is located. And the host is obviously the host, which is actually holding everything together. Okay. Then comes the third part, which is talking about parameters and headers. Okay. So body is headers and body. Body is something where you actually specify the data. So whenever you want to send data to the server, okay, if you want data from server, you are not going to send, a lot of information. You will just add some parameters to filter that request, right? But when we talk about sending request, you are going to use body. You're going to specify body because you want to send data. And that's where the body comes into the place, and the body is in JSON format. You need to attach the body and say that, hey, add this data to the server. And then, the API would do action and then give you a response code. Now, when we talk about receiving the response, there are three parts here as well: status code, header, and accessing body data. Can someone tell me what is a status code? Let's say you have heard about 404. What is 404? So I see a lot of people saying not found, resource not found, right? So whenever we talk about 404, what is 404? 404 is a status code, and there are multiple status code like this, which you will be able to see in your day-to-day life. Okay, so 404 is one, 200 okay is one, which means everything went well. So let's say, whenever I'm using my browser, it is by default sending a get request to all the websites. Okay, remember that. So by default, the browser which we use, so let's say I am using this browser. Okay, so let me go ahead and let me go to www.google.com. Okay, so what this is ideally doing is it is sending a get method to google.com, and then the page is displayed. Now let me go and request google.com/login, which does not exist, and it will say me that's a 404. Okay, so if I go to, let's say, I create a resource, and then that will return status 200 saying that everything went well and you received the website. Okay, so yeah, let's go to hands-on. Hands-on is where we are going to make a request and we are going to do all this hands-on. So I'm going to send this link in the chat right now. Okay, just go there. Once you open that link, what I want you to do is, this is the complete Postman, I would say, the homepage of Postman. Okay, the development homepage of Postman. Now you will see this is a workspace. Okay, so what is a workspace? What is all this? Obviously you don't know about. Okay, the first thing which I'm going to talk about is Postman. So what is Postman? Okay, so the name itself comes from the request post request. Okay, so because it is, I would say, uh, when we talk about Postman in a very simple term, it is nothing but the browser for APIs, where you can use APIs, you can send requests, you can receive requests, you can do a lot of stuff. If you are working as a designer, you're working as a software engineer, you're working as a tester, you might be using Postman really now and then, because it is the industry standard tool which literally everyone uses. Okay, more than 13 million people uses Postman in their day-to-day life development, and because of the growth of API first, a lot of people use it. And I would say every developer might have used this once. Okay, and I'm not saying this because I'm working in Postman. Like even before I was working in Postman, I was using Postman from last 3 years. Okay, because when you work with backend, you work with APIs, you work with Postman. Okay, because that is the go-to tool. And you can see for every use case there is something in Postman which will enable you to kind of make APIs, to design APIs, to test APIs, and so on. And if you learn about Postman, if you're certified, then there is a you know big pool of companies who are hiring. All the Fortune 500 companies use Postman. Okay, so obviously if you have that skill set with you, then it will be easier for you to get jobs. But our aim is not to promote Postman. Okay, our aim is to promote API literacy. We see that I have been to so many colleges, right? What I see is people talk about machine learning, people talk about blockchain, people talk about all these technologies, right? And they forget about the baseline of all this technology. Okay, how are you going to use your machine learning model? If let's say you train the model, everything is okay, right? But how are you going to use that? Okay, and then people are like, no, it is working on my notebook. I'm like, okay, it doesn't make sense, right? The reason for that is because you don't know the basics of the basic structure of software, how software interacts. And that's why our aim is to promote API literacy, so that you understand about APIs, and then you use our client to kind of work with it. And we are more than happy to provide you with pro licenses and whatever you need, so that you are able to kind of make your project and then go out there and then display it, and then understand the basic building blocks of software, and then work on any of this fancy technology, and then go ahead and implement that. Okay, so that's about Postman. I'm not going to say anything more about explaining what all these things are, right? And then we'll move forward. So what I want you to do is, once you are here in this workspace, this is called as a workspace, and this is a public workspace, so that you guys can fork. It is just like GitHub. You can fork it, you can comment on it. So what I want you to do is go to GDB of API, click on that, click on GDB of API here on the left hand side. Okay, it will open a documentation on the right hand side. What I want you to do is go here and comment. Okay, so here you can see I did yesterday a workshop at IIT Roper. I want you to add your college names here. Okay, so say hello from India, hello from whatever university you are from. Okay, Team College of Engineering, or hello from Mumbai. So let me see the comments. So I'm waiting for the comments. Go to GDP of API and add a comment there. Okay, it's very simple. Once you're done, give me a thumbs up so that I know where my audience is from. I'm hoping everyone should be from Mumbai, some from Dombivli, some from Kalyan, but you can mention Mumbai, not a problem. Or mention India, that is +1, obviously. I don't see a comment yet. It is real time though. Yes, I see a new comment. I see Omkar, hello from Team COE India. Amazing. Anyone else commenting there? It should be in GDP of API. Huh? I'm looking at that, not others. You can comment at others later on, but I just want to see how many people are here from your college. Aditya. What about others? There are 60 more people in the call. Obviously, you need an account here, right, to comment. So I hope you have a Postman account. Now, if you don't have a Postman account, you can obviously sign in, okay, and create an account using Google Sign In very easily. So I can see hello from team, Faizan, Amog. Okay, I'll wait for a few more seconds so that others can go and comment. Harsh, I can see the comment from Harsh. Hello from team. Okay, seems like I have a dull audience. Only few interactive people. Okay. So what I want you to do is I want you to create a folk copy of this. Okay. So let me reach 100 folks today because we are 60 people and we are away from how many? If your match is good, it's 20. Yeah, I will definitely repeat the steps. Okay. So go to this URL. If I directly show you this URL, you will directly go to the comments. But if you want me to show you what I'm doing, you go here. Okay. And you click on GDP of API. Okay. So GDP of API, make sure you're logged in with Postman. If you're not, then you'll have to log in. Okay. And login just takes, a minute. So if you're not in, let's say you are not yet part of Postman, you can sign up with Google account and it will take you like 1 minute to sign up. Okay. So once you are here, you click on GDP of API and it will open a documentation on the right. If it doesn't, then you will see that there is this comment option, the second option. Okay. So the second option, your comments, click on that. And then you will be able to see all the comments. So you see, Sheikh Ramiz has comment hello from team, and then Harsh has commented hello from team. Okay. I can actually go to his profile and then see, who they are. And I can actually, because it is like a get a profile. Okay. So whatever you do, this is like your portfolio to the company who's hiring you in terms of APIs. Yeah, I can see I'm from Ankit, Shoaib, amazing. Okay. So next thing what I want to do is go and click a fork of this. Okay. So what it will do is it will create a copy in your own workspace. Okay. So click on fork button. Again, GDP of API, click on GDP of API, or else you can click on these three dots and click on fork as well. But I want you to click this button, which is more easier to see. Okay. On the top, click on fork. It will open a new window which will show you fork label. For fork label, you can enter today's date or your name so that we can identify, different, branches. So here we have to give a, fork label. So I usually use the date because that is more convenient to me. So I will be like, let me use Feb 20. Okay. And then I will store this. You will only be able to see my workspace. Okay. So if you click on my workspace, you'll be able to see my workspace and then click on fork collection. Once you're done, give me a thumbs up. So it will create a fork and it will redirect you to that collection. Okay. Now because everyone is doing it, I will just go back again in the time and then I will, show it again. Go to GDP of API, click on fork. It will open a new tab and then add a fork label. Select your workspace. Else you will see, fork option is disabled because I cannot fork it in the same workspace. So click here, click on my workspace, and then enter a fork label saying that Feb 18, sorry, Feb 20. I'm going, I can time travel. Okay. Click on fork collection and then it will fork it into your workspace. Once it is done, it will automatically redirect you to you, something like this. Don't worry, you won't see so many, copies of this collection because I do, regular workshops. You can see the dates 19, 18, 19, 19, 6. So today is this 20, and that's why I use dates, much more. They are much more flexible. Okay. So you should be able to see something like this, and it will open a window like this. Okay. Now, if you are seeing the window like this, give me a thumbs up. Let me see how many people have forked it yet. So I see 89. I still need 11 folks, and we are 60 people here. Come on, folks. Show me some energy. Amog has done it. Harsh has done it. Ajay has done it. Amazing. What about others? Shinda has done it. Okay. Pradyuman. Okay. We are also going to create an API. Okay. So I see 89. Okay. I'll leave it here. For others who are following up, please go and fork your repository because this is also important in the terms of doing the hands-on. Else you will not understand the hands-on because here you have to work. Okay. I am just going to give you instructions because I want this to be very interactive. I want you folks to actively participate in this. So it is better that you follow the hands-on and you get some skills out of this workshop. And then later on, when you go out and someone asks you what is an API, what are methods, you know that. Okay. And then you can actually answer that in an interview. Cool. So let's go to our fork copy. Okay. Should I wait? So see, I have plenty of time. Okay. I am just going to work with you folks. So if someone is behind, I can wait for him. I can wait for her. Okay. The thing is, I'm, I want to take everyone together so that everyone is on the same page. Okay. So if you're behind, just tell me in the chat that, hey man, I'm behind. Just can you please slow down? And then I will do that. I will, wait for you to come up with everyone and then we'll move forward. Okay. I know that, my speed is too much. I speak, too fast. I do stuff too fast. So you might miss some steps. So that's why I'm, just taking my time and then, doing this. Okay. I can see your workspace. Okay. Have you used that same URL which I was displaying you? If not, I'm going to send that right away in the chat. Yes, yes. Zero fork meaning that you have once forked it, you don't need to refork. Okay. Once you have forked it, you don't need to refork. So let's say this was the main workspace, right? So if you click on the URL which I sent you, it will redirect you like this. Okay. And here you can go to GDP of API, click on that. Okay. And then click on fork option. Now, once the fork option is available, add a fork label. Fourth label can be anything, your name as well. So I will say Ali. Okay. And then in the workspace, select my workspace and click on fork. Once you click here, it will redirect you to your own workspace. Okay. So it will show you zero forks. If you're able to see zero forks, then you have done everything right. You just need to wait so that others can catch up. Okay. So click on fork and it will redirect you. It will reload the whole structure. Okay. And then it will redirect you and then bring you back to your personal workspace. And you can see here, you will be able to see something like this. If you're able to see something like this and zero forks, then you are in the right place. Okay. Recording will not be uploaded to the YouTube because this session is only for your college. Okay. So as of now, we are not expanding, we are not actually going to, YouTube and doing the sessions. We are selecting colleges and we are doing it, right? I have, Omkar is a student expert and soon to be a student leader. And he approached me saying that, hey, I want to bring this opportunity to my campus. And I was like, okay, let's plan a workshop. And that's how this workshop is arranged for you folks. Okay. And if you see on LinkedIn, there is, IIT, like I guess most of them are IITs and IITs, and there is, some other institutes which have approached us and we have done it for them. So sadly, it won't be available. But yeah, if you follow with me right now, I guess we have not covered much of the session, so you will be able to understand things. That we'll have to see after the session, how much interactive you folks are. Okay, so let's get ahead. Okay, and let's click on GDP of API. Now click on get data. Okay. Now it will open a new tab on the right hand side. Now obviously you have never seen Postman before. How will you understand different parts of Postman? So that's why I'm going to explain you Postman in a very simple format. Okay. So I'm going to use my favorite colors. The first one is red, and I will start with part one. So this is everything you see on the left hand side. I usually refer this as part one of Postman. Okay. Then I will use my another favorite color, which is blue color. Okay, and then I will mark part 2. This is part 2 of the Postman workspace. Then I'm going to change the color and I'm going to say which color should I choose. Mhm. Okay, I will go with the chat's choice. I'll use pink again. So I'll use pink color and then I'll put it here because you folks respond very late. Okay, so pink color is here, and then this is the part 3. So remember part 1, part 2, and part 3. They all have their own significance. Okay. Now there are much more parts than this, but these are the basic parts. Part 1 helps you to organize your APIs. Okay. Organize your request. So here you will see that all this which you see are nothing but they are called as collections. So here you can see we have selected collection and they all are called as collections. This is called as collection. Everything here is called as a collection. Collection is nothing but a folder with bunch of requests. For example, you can see this collection. It is nothing but a folder, and inside that folder there are 1, 2, 3 requests, and all the collections will have requests. You cannot directly add a request. You need a collection to organize your request. That is very, very important. Okay. Apart from that, whatever you see your APIs, environments, mock servers, monitors, forget about them right now because these are advanced concepts which you don't want to learn in this session. Okay. Then you see the history. Now I want to tell you about this because here we don't have an incognito mode. Okay. So whatever you search, whatever APIs you call, it is available in the history. Okay. So make sure you clear it after the session, maybe. But we are not going to, we are going to query some public APIs, so not a tension at all. But yeah, whatever you do, it will be available in the history and you can click it and you can view it. That is very important feature because what happens is sometimes people don't save the request. And once they don't save the request, it is difficult for them to, get hold of it. And that's why history helps them. It is a very good feature. And that's why I'm also telling you that. Okay. Then comes part number 2. What does part number 2 do? It allows us to make request. Okay. So we understood part 1, which was making request for getting data from API, and then part 3 helps us in getting response. Okay. So as you can see here, it will show you here. My handwriting is not so good, so don't go in on my handwriting. But you can see the response here. Okay. So once we send the request, it will tell us the response in this block. And in request, you will see params, authorization, headers, body. What is body? Where it will help us whenever we are sending data to the server. Okay. And all that. And here you can see the save button, which we can use to save the request. Okay. This is the name of the request. I can edit this as I want. Okay. So I hope this concept is clear. Yes. The whole concept here. Cool. Now, if you want to make a new collection, how are you going to make it? So let me clear all this stuff. Okay. Clear all the lines and then go here and then show you how to make a new collection. So here you can see this new option. You can actually make a new collection or you can import a collection. So here you can see import option. So if you click on new, let me click on new. So if I click on new, you can see that it opens a new kind of pop-up window and it tells me what thing I want to make. So do I want to make a request, or do I want to kind of use a collection, make a collection, or do I want to make an environment or a workspace? Okay, what is a workspace? Workspace is collection of collection. Okay, so it is like a root folder where you have multiple collections. Okay, together. Let's clear all this and then let's go back to our GDP. Okay, so in GDP, open the get data request. Okay, once you open get data request, go up here and type the URL www.google.com. Once you do that, click on send and tell me what do you see. Okay, can you do that for me? Click on send and tell me what do you see. Just give me a second. I see a lot of messages, some HTML code. What about others? What are others able to see? Are you able to see something same? Yes. So amazing, Rizwan. That was a really awesome response, right? You're able to see a lot of stuff. Let's hit send and let's see what I'm able to see. So once I hit send, I can see body, cookies, header, and test results. And on the right hand side, what I see is status code. Hover on that status code. What do you see? What does it say? It says standard response for a successful HTTP request, whatever you send. So meaning that our request was successful. It took this much time to return the value. This is the size of the response. I can also save the response as an example to use later. Okay, but I'm not going to do that. Now let's see what is the response which I have received. Okay, because that is important. So here, if I see in the response, by default the pretty is selected. I am able to see HTML. Okay. Now if I click on raw, this pretty content will become colorless and it will become without syntax. Okay, so whenever you select pretty, it becomes colorful. It highlights the syntax. Whenever you select raw, it just becomes like a raw data. Now whenever you click preview, it will preview what it is actually. So here you can see, what do you see? Obviously preview will not work on JSON because what it will preview in JSON. So if you click on preview, that will actually show you the homepage of Google. Okay, now if you click on visualize, visualization is a Postman centric feature. If you're going for Postman student expert, you will learn about visualization more. And visualization is like really amazing concept. We will talk about it later on. Okay, but yeah, as of now, that is not under our syllabus. Okay, so here you can see I can use google.com here and everything works good. Now, what if I want to add something here, right? It is google.com, but I want to add something here. Let's say my name, or let's say Postman, or let's say any query. How am I going to do that? So here we are going to use a concept of param query, which literally everyone uses. Okay. So go here in the query and add queue and observe this while writing the query. So add queue here. Okay. And then add the value. In the value, I will add the name of the company, which is Postman. You can add the name of your college, or if you are pretty famous, you can add your name as well. Okay. So Postman, Q, and Postman, and then you can see the URL changes. Now let me hit send again and tell me what happens now. I'm waiting for your response. So yeah, what do you see? This time it is populating the field which we added here in the search bar. But why am I not able to see the search results, right? When I go to google.com and I search, I see the search results, right? But here, why am I not able to do that? What is the reason? Can anyone tell me? Why it is not showing me the response page? I know this, right? I can write this and then, it just doesn't make any sense. Yes. So that answer is somewhat perfect, right? When I say the request to search isn't made yet, because no, it is not a preview, it is live. Okay. So yeah, that is not a preview. So see, I explained you about endpoints and resource paths, right? Let me explain that again. So whenever we talk about endpoints and resource paths, see, this is an endpoint, okay? Google.com is endpoint, but the search path is not available here. So if I want to search something, I will have to add the path slash search. Okay. Now hit enter and tell me what do you see. Hit send and tell me what do you see. I'll wait for your response. Yes, yes. Search results. Yeah. In the step, what I did was I added slash search on google.com and then I hit enter, sorry, or send button. And then I'm waiting for you folks to tell me what do you see. And people say that they see search results. So hit a send button here and you will see the search results. Meaning that forward slash search is the resource path where search is available. Okay. Now, if I go to google.com, let me do that. Okay. So if I go here to google.com and I go to, Google, oops, sorry for that, google.com and hit enter. Here I can, let's say, search for myself. I am also a bit famous, not quite famous, but I can see my results. Okay. So here I can see my results. But one major thing which I want to understand is what Google is sending so much to others, right? I just want to understand what is this all things all about what Google sends. So if you ever wondered about that, what Google sends in this all URL, and how did I know that Q is the search query which Google uses to add, to that search bar? Control A, Control C, search for anyone, okay? No, don't search for me specifically. You can search for theme college as well, okay? So let me search for theme college of engineering, okay? And if I search for them, I can see all this, right? And then I can copy this, copy the URL, come back to Postman, okay? And then whatever you wrote here, just delete it, paste it here. Don't send the request, just paste and wait. And then you will come here and you will see that Google sends so many different details when you are sending a request. Okay, like EI, then Q is Theme College of Engineering R query, then GSACP, I don't know what that is, then OQ, which is Theme Plus, okay, and then GS LCP, whatever, I don't know what that is, but yeah, what Google is doing is it is sending so much of data together, right? So whenever you are confused, whatever they are sending in the URL, just copy paste it here in the Postman. It will tell you all the query params. Is it cool? Not cool? Let me show you one more thing. This is a very good example. So I'll take 2 minutes of yours and show you a very good example. So I am on google.com, right? Let me open my Postman client. Let me share my complete screen. So I hope you are able to see my client. Yeah, I can see it. So you can also see it. So I'm using a very good feature which is called as interceptor. I'm turning it on, and then I will make a new collection because there are old collections which are already there. So I'll make a new collection and I will name it today. That is Feb 20. Okay, Feb 20 demo. That is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to create the collection. So it is visible here, Feb 20 demo, as you can see it. Okay. Now I will go to interceptor. I will turn on the interceptor, and then I will go to collection number today, which is collection 20 demo. Okay. And then here in the filter, I'm going to add the filter of google.com. Okay. So let me, remove the filter because that will not capture all the requests. So let me remove the filter and we are all good. Okay. So as you can see what I did, I added, interceptor. It will just intercept the request. You don't need to do that. Just wait and watch me. Okay. So let me go to google.com, which I was already there, but once again, because I don't want to risk anything, google.com is here. Okay, it is intercepting all the requests. Now let me search for, let's say, post. So you see, I see a lot of options here, right? And I see an image here as well. Now let me go back, and as I show you Feb 20 demo, what can you see? Okay, let me show you in the web, because in the web it is much more visible, and I cannot zoom in right here. So in the web I can zoom in. So just give me a second. My workspace. So it is all in Cynic. Okay, whatever I type there, it Cynics back to my workspace, and you can see Feb demo here, 20 here. So what do you see here? You see that it was actually, it started with knock knock. Okay, and then it sent a request to google.com. Then it sent the request, so many different requests with query. Okay, and then it sent another request, format, authentication, user, and then it sent so many requests just by typing that little update there. Okay, you can see it is just typing different requests, and it is sending all the requests there. Okay, now let me go and let me keep typing. Okay, and it will generate more requests. So let me say postman client. Okay, and you can see all these are API requests, and I can see them here. As you can see, they are, you can see this. So postman, it made an API call for postman 20%, 20% CI, which is a space, and then you will see that it is actually making API calls unless and until I do that. Let me show you another quick demo. So instead of this, let me type HEL, and you can see hello, hello, by hello, hello, and then all that, and then let me come back here and let me show you this. Okay, so API call, you can see query. First query Google entered on H, then another query Google entered on HE, then another query HEL, and you can see it is actually sending all the query on that. Okay, so let me do one thing is, let me press HELLO, hello, and then come back here, and you can see again Google send a request saying that hello. Okay, hell, and then it will send for hello as well, and you will see it send the request for hello as well. Okay, so you can see at the back end Google is using API so much for literally everything. Okay, so let me turn off the interceptor, else it will be, it will be too much of information here. So let me turn off this, and let me see how many requests Google sent in just little span of time. So you can see how many requests it has just within a minute or two, as I showed you the interceptor demo. Okay, so many requests. Okay, so here you can see so many different requests. Okay, and you will see literally everything, whatever Google does, and so on and so forth. Okay, so yeah, coming back to GDB of API. So what we saw how people use API, and then we saw it here as well. Okay, then I want you to do is, let's go back to the workspace which I was showing you. Okay, so let's do that. I'm sending you a chat request. Okay, yes, similar to that, but there is a difference, right? And the major difference, as Somkar has told you that. So yeah, so this feature was actually made for localhost, seeing that if your API is kind of making some weird behavior, and that's why interceptor is mostly used for that, or looking at the number of requests anyone is sending out there, right? So what I want you to do is to go to basics of API and fork this. Okay, so do that for me, please, so that we can continue. Go to basics of API and then fork that repository for me. Same process, click on fork. It will ask for a fork label, enter a date, click on fork. Once you're done, give me a thumbs up. Okay, I'll wait for everyone to finish off. Okay, the URL which I sent, go to basics of API. Okay, and then click on fork. You need to fork this as well. Basics of API. I have sent the URL right now in the chat. Okay, if you want, I can send you again. This URL will directly enable you to fork that repository. Okay, so click on that and enter a label, and then you can fork it. Okay, the URL which I sent you right now. Everyone done? Let me see how many forks. It was 58 earlier. I see 69. Only 10 people, 11 people. Where are those folks? Oh, I see this 105. Amazing. Thank you so much, folks. You helped me hit century and 5 runs more. Okay. So yeah, 72 here. Okay, can we reach 100? We have 40 people here. So I guess we can if everyone does it, but I don't think so. Half the people might be sleeping because I don't see their chats here. I only see repeated names every single time, right? Dan, Faizan, Dan, Faizan, Ramiz, they all are like every time, sending Aditya, then Omkar, then Amog, Ankit as well. Where is others? See, I just remember your names real quickly. Yeah, Rupesh has messaged right now. Okay, so once you have forked this, let me fork this as well myself. So Feb 20 fork collection that will create a fork copy for me. Once the fork copy is created, that will redirect and bring me back here. Okay, and here you will see there is a documentation. So whenever you are working with an API, you cannot work with an API without a documentation, can you? Obviously you cannot. If you don't know what the API is all about, how are you going to work with it? So Postman provides a very simple feature. So whenever you click on basics of API, you will see on the right hand side there is a documentation. If you're not able to see, it might be hidden, and it will be in a very small format. Okay, so if you're not able to see this, just expand this. Okay, or just click on that documentation button on the very right hand side. Okay, so just click on that and you will see the documentation. What does documentation say? It says that make your own API using this notebook. Can you click on that URL? What it redirects you to? A GitHub repository. So how many of you are familiar with Python? Can you give me a thumbs up? Python, Python, Python. A little, yes, that is fine. Even if a little, even if you know what is programming language, that is fine for our workshop. We don't need a lot of programming language. Okay, cool. So let's fork this repository. Click on fork. If you have a GitHub account, that is fine. If you don't worry. We have something for you. Okay. So if you don't have a GitHub account, no worries at all. If you have a GitHub account, just fork this. And if you give me a star, I will be happy. You know, I realize that how coming from nursery and then becoming a 23-year-old and then still requesting for stars. Earlier we used to request it from teachers. Now we are requesting it from students. So yeah, if you start it, that will be good. But yeah, not a compulsion. You can click on fork because you want to edit it later on. Okay. You can also create a pull request if you feel there should be some added things here. For example, you can see Likhit here. It is like that was my first day in the workshop, and I did a simple logical error, and he created a fork, and he is a contributor right now. So you can get here. Ganesh, yes, sure. So in GitHub, you need to open basics of API, okay? And in the basics of API, there is a documentation on the right hand side, okay? So if you click on basics of API collection, uh, here on the right hand side, you will see this block which says documentation. So if you click there, it will open the documentation, okay? And here you will see that this notebook it says. So click on that notebook and it will open that URL, okay? So if you click that notebook, it will open this URL and I can see a lot of people here. Okay. Now, if you don't have a GitHub account, totally fine. For people who don't have a GitHub account, open the second part. Okay. This one. Open the collab notebook. Okay. Directly open the collab notebook. That will open this notebook in a collaborate in a collab. What is collab? Collab is Collabority. That is a free service by Google. which helps us run Python applications online, okay, with Google's resources. So that is cool. We don't need to install anything. So yeah. So what I want you to do is, if you have opened this second URL, I will send this URL again in the chat so that for people who don't have GitHub, don't get confused a lot, right? It might be confusing sometimes, and I don't want you to get confused. So this is where it is. For people who are in the GitHub, open the API basics in your own repository, okay? Please don't open mine because that will be too much of load. And then open in Collab this button. That will open your repository in the collaboratory, okay? Once you're done with that, just close GitHub because we don't need it anymore, okay? And come back to Collab. Everyone open the Collab notebook? Yes, yes, yes. Once you're done, give me a thumbs up. Okay. Run cell number one. Run anyway. Run cell number one, and then run cell number two. Run cell number one and two both, and then wait. Do nothing. Okay. Run cell number one and cell number two, and then wait. And you will get a URL, a public URL. Okay. Everyone with me right now? Everyone got a public URL? No? Did you run part one and part two? Cell number one and cell number two? Yes, everyone's will be different. Yes, yes. It will not be same. Okay. Thank you, Omkar, for highlighting that. Everyone's the URL will be different. Okay. Because this is your server. Okay. This is your temporary server. So just to explain this Python code, I'm doing nothing. I'm making a simple API with 4 requests: get, post, put, and delete. Okay. 4 requests. And I'm just writing some code. Don't worry about the code. It is fine if you don't understand it. Okay. Now, if I click on this URL, it will take me to a web page and say that, hey, this is a simple demo for making API server made by Ali Mustafa. Okay. If I come back to Collab, I will see a log here, which says there was a get request done and the status is 200. And it also did a get request of Favicon because I didn't add that. It says 404 not found. Everyone able to see this? Once they go to the homepage of that URL. If you're not able to see the URL, if you're not able to generate that, I can share that, but I cannot share with a lot of people because I could have shared that directly in the chat. But the thing is, it doesn't support a lot of people. Okay, so yeah, yes, sure, Nimesh. So what you need to do is, see, I sent you this collab URL. Okay, this is the collab URL. Go to this URL. Okay, once you open this URL, run first cell and then run the second cell. That's it, nothing much. Once you run the second cell, you can see this is running, and you will see a simple endpoint which is available temporarily for yourself. Okay. So once you're able to see this log, yeah, it will take a minute or two, not more than that. If it is taking more time, then I have a different option. But yeah, it's loading. Okay. Yeah, it will take some time, a bit of a time. Done. Ankit is done. What about others? Done. Omkar is done. Okay. Good, good. For Aditya, it is loading. Mm-hmm. Running. Amazing, Faizan. So here you can see the URL. Okay. Running. So once you have the URL ready, okay, Rupesh, for it is loading. I'll wait unless it is for people who are loading. All good. Okay, cool. So once you have this URL, copy this URL. Okay. Just copy this URL and then come back to Postman. Okay. Come back to Postman. Now what you need to do is you need to first click on I love you 3000. Okay. Run that and it will return you the same response saying I love you 3000. So this is called as Postman echo service. So whatever you send, it will reply back the same. So for example, here you can see message. Yes, yes, we are not doing with that. I'm not moving ahead. I'm just showing you the echo demo. Till then, everyone gets the URL. Okay. So come back, let it run. It will run. Okay. Yeah, second cell, it will run. It will load. It will take a minute or two. Till then, come back to the Postman. Click on I love you 3000 in basics of API. And then you can see a message, I love you 3000. Add another message, 2. Okay, and you can add your loved one's name. Well, on 14th February, I was doing it for myself, so I wrote it to myself. Okay, and I love you 3000, and I was doing it all day. It was fun. So hit send, and if you hit send, you will see the response. Okay, and the response will say, I love you 3000 to myself. Okay, so this is called as echo service. It is sometimes useful when you are doing something which requires you to reply back with the same data. But yeah, you can actually go ahead and work with it and then understand more about it. But for now, that is the only demo which I want to show for the Postman Echo. Now let's click on fetch joke, and it says that add the URL from your notebook. Okay, so paste the URL which you got here. Okay, it is still loading. Yes, are you able to do that? See, it will be running like this because it is a constant server. Okay, it will keep running. Okay, it will not stop unless and until you stop this manually, and it will show you like this green color which says busy. Yeah, everyone with me? Okay, so let me go back to fetch joke and hit send. I again see the home page, but I don't see the joke which I should be seeing. Why is that? It should give me jokes, right? Why it's not giving me the joke? Resource path, perfect. So add path as joke and hit enter. And tell me, what do you see? You see a joke. What is hardware? A part of computer which you can kick. A really good joke. Let's rerun this. And then it gives me another random joke which says, first rule of programming, if it works, don't touch it. Yeah, very true rule. Then run it again. And then it will give me what is the hardware. Because there are only 4 jokes, so it is random. Okay, so it's just randomly giving me the jokes. Okay, what if I want a specific joke? Then what I will have to do? I just want a specific joke. Let's say joke number 1, or joke number 2, or joke number 3. So there are only 4 jokes. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3. So what I will have to do? I will have to add ID, which is a query. Okay, so here I'm not using a query param. Here I'm using a path variable. Okay, path variable is basically most used. So here this is called as a path variable. So I'm adding /1 instead of adding an ID and doing that, because I don't want people to know that, right? So that is one mechanism to directly add it here and then hit enter. And once I do that, I will be able to see joke number 1 only. Everyone able to see this? Yeah. So I hope get request is pretty clear to everyone. Is it? Yes. Yeah. So now what about other types of request? So what I want you to do is go here in the basics of API, click on these 3 dots, okay? And then click on add a request, okay? So in the collection, click on the collection. This is basics of API. Okay. Oops, don't open it here, the right hand side. Here you will see basics of API. Hover over it, hover a bit. So as you can see, if I hover, I see these 3 dots. Click on that 3 dots and click on add request. Okay. Click on it. It will open a new tab and it will say that new request. Now it is always a best practice to name your request. Obviously when you were born, what is the first thing your parents did? Named you. So don't leave the request like that. Okay, I really don't like that. So if they didn't do that, then you will be like you are a human being or something like that. So yeah, so let's name this. What we are going to name, we are going to add a push request, meaning that we are going to add the server data to the server. So I'll say add joke. Okay, and then I will just hit enter, or I will just remove outside, and you can see it is added here. Now once I see that, I will be able to see it here that add joke request is added. Is it done for everyone? Okay, I want to send data to the server. Which method? I want to send data to the server. Which method? Respond me, come on, be quick. Which method? Post method, right? So I need to put post method, and I need to add that. So where I'm going to select that? Do you see a drop down to select that? Here, right? So you can see here if you delete this, you can see method, right? So I can write post post. I can select it from the drop down, which is like this. Okay. So once I have selected, I need to add the URL, which was the URL, but the path is joke. Okay. Cool. Let me save this request so that I don't, you know, uh, like later on I don't have it. So click on save and it will be saved. You can see here. And then here on the right hand side, you can see that the icon is updated with post. Okay. Okay. Click on send. We have added the post request. We have added the path. Everything is done. Click on send. What do you see? Error. What is the status code and what does it say? What is the status code and what does it say? It needs the parameter. Which parameter does it need? It needs the body. Okay, we didn't send the body. We didn't send the data to add to the server. That's why it says bad request, man. Okay, you need to improve that. Okay, so here we need to add body. But what kind of body does this request require? Right? Do you know that? No, right? Then how are you going to know that? If you don't know that, how are you going to, if is someone going to come to your dreams and say that? No. That's why every API has a documentation. Okay. So click on basics of API and it will open the documentation on the right. If it doesn't, click on that documentation button. And here you can see that in to do there is add a post, read and put request. And then there is a body. It mentions that the body for post and put looks like this. So copy that body. You will see a copy button here. Okay. Click on that copy button and then click on copy. That will copy the body. Okay. Once it is copied, come back to add joke. Okay. Looks like my internet has been not so good. Okay. Uh, were you folks able to hear me? Did you copy the body? Yes, right? Okay. So once you copy the body, come to body and click on raw. None, it will not allow you to add anything here. Okay. Click on raw and then paste it here. Yeah, Faizan. So what I did was, let me save this. Let me go back to. So what I did was I went to basics of API. Okay. And then I opened the documentation on the right hand side. Okay. And in the documentation below to do, what I saw was a body, because the documentation is where you will get the body. Okay. So I copy this body and then I come back to add joke. And in add joke, I click on body. So here it was like this. I will click on body. So actually my Mac has been lately behaving really weird. It just blocks me. Yeah, I know that. Sorry for that. So once you come back here, click on body. Okay. And then you will see here, replace the name as the author of your name. Obviously my name, how will I replace my name? So replace Ali Mustafa with your name. Source also replace it with your name. Don't copy my joke. Okay. So add your own joke. Here it is bugs are features. Don't copy my joke. Okay. And then everything is set. Yes. One more thing. Our data, our API accepts JSON data. It does not accept text. So click here on text and convert that to JSON. And then it will highlight the syntax and everything looks good. Hit send and what do you see? Hit send and tell me what do you see? Already exist. Why? Because ID number one was there, right? We retrieved the ID number one. So it will give you that only, already exist. So what I need to do? I need to change the ID number, right? So here we need to change the ID number. Your tunnel might have stopped. So go back to there, go back to your uh, repository and then rerun this. You will get the URL again. Okay. So here you can see post request was made and it says 400, meaning that it is bad data. Okay. Come back here, bad request, sorry, not bad data. Okay. Now let's add the ID number 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is available. So I will add ID number 10 and then I will hit this again. And then here it is there. Yeah, so it is mentioned in the code. How do I know which ID is the last in the list? So here you can go to the code. That is what I have not added that as a feature to understand which ID is the last. So if you go here, you can see there is ID number 3. So there is only 3, 0, 1, 2, and 3. And then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is available. Okay. So you can see that in the code. Okay, so if you are not able to do that, I have also have a backup plan for people who are not able to get the things working with ngrok. Just give me a second. So for everyone whom ngrok is not working, this is the URL. But don't use the same ID for adding joke, because this is a common server for everyone, meaning that if someone adds a joke there, it will be visible by everyone. Okay. So please make sure you use different IDs, unknown IDs, that is fine, because that is, how it will work. Please don't everyone use this. For people who are not able to do that, use this server. Okay. So come to add joke and everything looks good. Okay. So what I want you to do is, Omkar, I am sending you this URL. Okay. Add the joke with your name and then I will retrieve it on my server. Okay. So where is Omkar in the chat? Omkar is here. Omkar, I have sent you my URL of ngrok. Add a joke with your name. Be real quick, okay? And then I will see the joke from the get request, okay? So from the get request, let me see the joke which I added, which was joke number 10. So you can see joke number 10 is visible to me. Omkar, add joke number 11, okay? Once you're done, give me a thumbs up. Okay. Now let us start one more request. Till then, Omkar is doing that post request, right? Click on these three dots over here. Click on these three dots. Click on add request. And this time you're going to update the joke. So name it as update joke. Okay. What method for update should I use? Yes. What method for update? No, post is for adding. I need to update the joke. I need to update the data on the server. Put request. Perfect. So I'm going to go here and then I'm going to select the put request. Okay. And then enter the same URL. Okay. And then should I hit send directly or what should I do now? What more do I need to add there? Yes. No, I have added it here. This joke is available here, right? What more? Joke ID. But where? One more thing which I need to add it to this request, which is missing here, because I need to update the joke, right? So I need to send something to the server. So for sending something to the server, how am I going to do that? No, URL is there, right? I need to send data to the server. How am I going to do that? Mm-hmm. Body, right? I need to send data to the server, right? So I need to send body. Okay. So body, click on raw, and then click on JSON. So remember, whenever you are sending a put request, okay, you need to send body as well, because you are sending data to the server technically. Now, what is the format of this data? How will I know what data do I need to send to the server? Yes. How will I know that? Docs. Perfect. So click on save here and then go to the docs. Where is docs? Where will I find the doc? Mm-hmm. Basics of API. So click on basics of API. The doc is available on the right hand side. Okay. Let's go there. Let's copy the body and then let's come back in the put request and then add it here. Remember the ID only which exists, it will add it to that ID only. Okay. So it will not, if you are adding a new ID, it will give you an error. So make sure the ID exists. So I will update joke number one because it exists in everyone. So I will update the author saying Ali Mustafa and I will say that this joke was updated. Okay. So Jake's joke was updated. Once I do that, I'll hint a send request and I will wait for it to update that. And then it doesn't return anything because it is updating, right? So it will not return anything and it will say that status 204, no content. Meaning that everything run fine, everything is good, but your process, your request did not return anything. Okay, so that is fine. That is not a problem. Now let me go to fetch joke and first let me check the joke of Omkar. So joke number 11, hit enter. And I can see Omkar Agarwal. How do you comfort JavaScript, Baba? You console it. Okay, that is a good joke. So you can see Omkar added a joke and I'm able to see that on my machine because the URL was same, right? So for everyone using, the joke URL which is sent in the chat, you will be able to see all other tweets as well or other, jokes as well. Okay, because it enables you to kind of, send that joke to everyone. Okay, so that is good. Now let me see the joke number one which I updated right now, and you can see this joke was updated, and I'm able to see this. Now, can someone add the delete request for me and update me with a thumbs up? For delete request, you don't need to send body. You need to send a parameter in the URL. Okay. So I've given you a wrong hint. Just do that for me. I see 35 dedicated people till now doing everything. Thank you so much for being here. Okay. We appreciate you. So yeah, go and add a delete request. Done. So you're remember to see for people who are not. So I will wait for 1 minute more because I don't want to be in a hurry. I want everyone to take their time and do it. And if you're not able to do it, I will do it and show you how it's to be done. Okay. Folks, if you have done it, please give me a thumbs up or tell me in the chat that you have done it. For delete, you are not going to send body. You're going to send that ID in the URL itself. Okay. Faizan, amazing. Yes. No, no, no. You don't need to add the ID. Okay. You just need to mention that in the URL like we did for the get request. Nothing will change apart from this. Okay. So let me do that for everyone. Let me copy this get URL. Nothing will change. Okay. Just the method will change. So let me go there, add a request, and then I will name it delete request. Okay. So delete joke. Okay. And then the method is going to be delete method. Okay. And then I'm going to paste this URL. And remember the path is same. Even the ID is going to be appended to the last. So I'll delete the joke of Omkar. So I'll delete joke number 11. I'll go there, hit a send button. And it will say that the joke with ID 11 was deleted. So you can see the joke was ID 11 was deleted. Now I can, if I want to re-delete it again, will it re-delete it? Yeah. Or it will say that ID not exist. So it will say that ID not exist. Actually, oh, it is saying that it is deleted. So there is a bug in my code. Okay. I don't know. I updated it last time. It was working. Let me go and check. Oh, it is actually deleting the joke which is already deleted. So actually, it should not do that. Okay. There is a bug in the code. I will update it. Okay. So yeah, if you can do that, okay, if you know Python, you can do that. Your name will be there in the contributors. So give a pull request. Okay. Now that request should be if you are adding something extra. So see, you need to make sure you in the delete request, you just need to add the ID and nothing else. Add this, add joke, and then add the ID. So let me delete number one, and you can see it will say that joke with number one is deleted. And if I send it again, Uh, it says it is deleted. It should not say that because the joke one doesn't exist anymore. It is deleted. Okay. So what is the basic problem of this whole system which I have made? Can someone tell me? What is the one problem of the whole system which I have made currently? What is the loophole? If someone would tell me. Hmm. Do you find any loophole in this system? If yes, what is the loophole? Come on, anyone? I know it is our lunch time and everyone is damn hungry, but yeah, I'm almost done. Okay, I'm almost done. Don't worry. Authentication, yes. So here, anyone can add any joke, right, to the server directly. Who has the URL? What will that do? That will, destroy the credibility of that service. So anyone will add anything. Anyone can access it, right? So if I want to restrict that, then authorization comes into the place. Okay. Now for authorization, I'm not going to cover in this workshop, okay? But as your interest builds, okay, authorization is a very good one. So what I want you to do is, if you want to, go and do authorization, right? You can fork the repository and keep it right now and do it later on. It also has good documentation, so you'll be able to understand the documentation and do it yourself. Else, in the student expert program as well, the authorization is there, so you don't need to worry there as well. Authorization, will be taught to you in the student program expert, as well. Student expert program. Sorry. Okay. So let me go back to my presentation. Where is my presentation? I just lost it. Okay, here is my presentation. Okay. So this is where we have actually done, all the requests. Let's do a recap. Types of method. I'll ask question. You need to answer it. Okay. Be quick. Types of request. Sorry, types of method, not types of request. Types of method. Get, post. Only two. We did only two. Put, delete. Yes. Amazing. Thank you, Amog. Yeah. And others as well who answered. Addresses. What are addresses? And what are two types, two parts in addresses? What are addresses? Mm-hmm. Put in. Yes. Path and endpoint and path, right? What is the resource path? Resource path is what? Where the resource is available. Perfect. Okay. What about the parameters? Where are parameters used? Yeah. Did we use any parameter? We did. What they do for querying? Yes. So to build our query, params are really good to segregate data, to filter data, to tell the server that hey, we need to delete this. Query parameters are really good. We didn't learn about authorization, but what does authorization allow us to do? It allows us to yes secure our servers. Perfect. Then what about body data? What does it allow us to do? Perfect, Faizan. Yeah. Yes. So body data allows us to send data in post and put request. Amazing. So if you want to become a Postman student expert, you like how this whole structure is done, right? Yes, Yash. That is also a very right answer. Yeah. So if you like all this, right, and you're excited about it, and you want to become a student expert, right, you will learn more about Postman. You will learn more about documentation, how to write documentation, right? You will also learn about writing basic scripts, text scripts, and run and pass variables. You will learn about variables and so on, and you will learn a lot more. Also, Omkar is your student leader, soon to be a student leader. So he will also be kind of bringing you a lot of workshop in your colleges. Okay, so make sure if you want to learn more, go and apply to become a student expert. Okay. So I'm going to send this link right into the chat right now so that you can go. Omkar will also send this URL to you folks after the meeting ends so that you can fill it up. Do mention that you came from this workshop, which was organized by Omkar and conducted by me. Okay. So that we have a track of where you are coming from. Okay. So if you could go there and you could kind of apply here and become a student expert, that would be really really nice. Okay, we don't have any limited number of student expert in the campus. Everyone can become a student expert. Okay, so if you are excited by this small demo, go become a student expert. You will get a badge of credibility. You will see on LinkedIn a lot of people share that badge. Okay, so I want you to get certified. If you have done this workshop, it will not take you more than 2 hours to complete the whole training. It is very easy. If you encounter any problem, you can reach out to Omkar. You can also reach out to the community forum, which is there on community.postman.com. Okay. So I want you folks to go there and apply for becoming a student expert. And Omkar is your student expert from your campus. Okay. And soon to be a student leader. For more resources, you can go to community.postman.com, explore.postman.com. So what I want you to do is I am really fascinated by your everyone's input here. Everyone was so interactive. So what I want you to do is I want you to give some amazing swag. Okay. So obviously you keep your Q&As coming, right? You ask me questions in the chat. Till then I will
Yeah,
share.
dear all.
Oh, sorry, my Mac. Yes, I know. My Mac again switched off. So sorry for that. Yeah. So keep your questions coming. Till then, I will show you how to win an amazing swag because you have been so interactive. I really like to kind of reward you folks. So what I want you to do is, so if you go here and if you go to explore, okay, you will see a lot more workspace, public workspaces which are available. Public workspaces are our amazing feature where you can make your APIs. You can actually use already made API, made multiple requests, put it into a folder and publish that to the web to see. Okay. And what I want you to do is make a public workspace and make it for your APIs which you kind of find amazing. For example, you can use COVID-19 API, or you can take some inspiration from here. You can see there are 10,000 plus public workspaces and 11,000 plus teams which are here. Okay. Hello. Are you folks able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so it seems like my video is freeze then. Okay, so what happens is your if you create a workspace and you set a URL afterwards to Omkar, I will send you a separate form. In that you can add your workspace URL. You have 1 day to do that, right? 1 to 2 days. I'll send it tomorrow, and by Sunday night I will close the form. And for people who submitted successfully, I will send them swags, not to all of them, but to them who have done it successfully or have published a success, a proper entry. Okay, so if you go here and create a new workspace, I will reward the best one with some really good swags, and for others I will send some stickers as you have put in some efforts. Okay, so come here, create a new workspace, and here in the team create it public. Okay, and then once you have created it, you can add collection, and then you can add all the things you need. So as you can see here, I have created a cat API, so I'll show you a demo. So here you can see I have created a cat API, and in that cat API I'm able to see that I can see that there is no collections as of now, right, available. Then I can add new collections, and then I can do a lot of stuff. Okay, so if you are able to do that and send it by Sunday, I will be more than happy to award the best one, the best workspace in your campus, and send you swag directly to your address. Okay, and for others who even try, I'll try to kind of definitely do that for you. If you complete a student expert training, you will know everything there. So yeah, please be apply to become a student expert. It will open a Google form and it will tell you all the process. So yeah, uh, that process you will understand. Also, we are upcoming with more workshops, so don't worry. You will get to know literally everything which you want to learn about Postman and about APIs in the near future, because Omkar is with you on the campus and will be delivering amazing workshops till he is there on the campus. Thank you, everyone. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to ask, and I will hand over the session to Omkar.
Ali, can you just show for once how to create basic docs?
Sure, I can show that. Till then, you can apply to become a student expert. I'll show that example. Okay. So let me go there. Let me hit a back button. So let's say I have this document. This is my workspace, right? So let me create a collection and let me say that, you know, get cats. Okay, this is the name of my collection. So once I, make the collection, it is there. Click on cancel and it will be available here. Okay, so let me refresh this. So here you can see the new collection get cats is available. Now if I click on collection, on the right hand side you can see a documentation which is empty as of now. Okay, now I can obviously add resources and I can add markdown here. So it is more like a markdown. So if I want to make a heading, I can be like, hey, this is h1, and then if I save this, you will be able to see this is h1. Okay, it is same like markdown. Once you write any documentation here, so I will be like, hey, this is cat API for cat lovers. Okay, and then I will be like, it has post request. Okay, second is put request, and etc. I can also make this, um, so it is completely like a markdown. So you can see I can make it like this, and I can add it like this and click on save, and you can see it looks awesome. Okay, so I can add multiple documentations like this. So if you want to add help. So if you like the session, connect me on linkedin.com/alimustafa, which is my personal handle. And if you also want to see a lot of snaps of food, you can connect with me on Instagram as well, which is my user ID. There is Ali Mustafa itself. So yeah, if you want, you can go to Instagram.com and then /I Ali Mustafa. Yeah, once you have created the workspace, you need to add request to that, add collection and add request. Okay, and then submit it. For submission, the form will be there. Omkar, can you please send the feedback form in the chat right now so that everyone can fill the feedback?
Yes, I'll send it in the mail so they'll get it in the mail. Is it fine with you? Or
Okay.
should I send it now?
Yeah, that is fine. You can send it right now as well because everyone is here, so they will fill it. They will be able to fill it right now, or you can send it in the mail as well. Okay. Okay, folks, keep your questions coming. So once you have created that, you will be able to add multiple details and then make it publish it. So here you can see once I have added a collection, I can add request, like get API and so on and so forth. And then once this is ready, you can actually click on it, copy the URL, and paste that in the form. Okay. So yeah, that's how you share a public workspace. If you need any information, you can just Google public workspaces. So you can go to Google.com and you can be like, hey, yeah, sorry for that. So you can go to public, you can be like Postman public workspaces. Okay, and you will see a lot of information about Postman public workspaces if you are stuck anywhere. Okay, so here you can see everything is available here, so you can go there. This is the blog post by our co-founder Abhinav Astana. You can go here and have a look. There are also a lot of more things, so you'll be able to find it there. Okay, you can also see this public workspaces, the first massive multiplayer things, etc., and it has a lot more information which will be helpful for you. So yeah, thank you so much. I'm stopping the screen share right now. And if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer. And if you could, turn on your videos, that would be really good because we could click a screenshot maybe if everyone does that. And if you really enjoyed the session, do connect with me. I will be more than happy to see your social media post on LinkedIn. What did you learn from this session? And I will be more than happy to kind of comment on that. So yeah. Oh, I see. Aditya Shinde with full yo man. Okay, that's good. Sir, sir is also here. Thank you, sir, for attending this. Really means a lot. Come on, folks, don't be shy. Okay, I am clicking it. One, two. Yeah, Omkar is also here. Okay. What about Faizan? Others? Come on, folks, be quick. Oh, people are making their hairs. Okay, I see it. Obviously, this will go on LinkedIn, and I have like 9,000 followers. So you make sure your hair is looking good. Okay. So yeah, let me click the photo. Everyone smile. One, two, three. Okay, just give me a minute. Actually, I was not able to click a proper screenshot. So yeah, now smile again. One, two, three. Let's go. Thank you so much, folks. It was amazing. I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing your post on social media, on LinkedIn specifically, whatever you learned. So yeah. Oh, sorry, sir. I was not. I guess you will be able to unmute yourself though.
Yes. Dear all, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Are there any queries? Yes, very good afternoon, Ali sir. How are you doing?
All good, all good.
Great. Any queries or questions, you can post it. If there are no queries, then we can wind up the session. It's my proud privilege to propose vote of thanks. First and foremost, I congratulate Mr. Sheikh Ali Mustafa for joining the Postman as a student community manager. On behalf of management, faculty, and students, we are very much thankful to Ali Mustafa for consenting and conducting this workshop on API 101 at a very short notice. Thank you, Ali, for that.
Thank you, sir. It's my privilege.
The workshop was wonderful. Yes. And hope all the participants will appreciate and utilize it for their academic as well as their future careers. We are also thankful to all the coordinators for their efforts and hope to see you again for the expert workshop. Maybe scheduling can be done by the coordinator side. Last but not the least, we are thankful to all the participants for attending this workshop. Thanks to one and all. We shall disperse for the day.
Thank you, sir.
Omkar, yes, Omkar can take over. If you have any announcements, you can announce it, or we can share the details of the expert session later on with all the participants.
Yes, sir. So one of the requests that I have, please check your mail, everyone. So we'll be sending a feedback form. Along with that, we'll also be sharing the resources that Ali has shared with us during this session. Also, make sure that you make use of this session and create a public workspace and share with us so that we can get you amazing swags, and make sure that you definitely use this in your project because it's one of the most useful thing that I have ever learned. So that's it. Make sure to check your mail and respond to the feedback form. That's it. So thank you for coming, joining us. So we now everyone can leave. We'll be closing the session. Thank you. Thank you, Alista, for giving us such a wonderful session.
Thank you. Bye
Just
bye.
one more request is there from the student side. They are requesting for the recording. We can share, I think.
Sure, sure.
The host. Yes, yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Bye bye, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.